Now we are live on YouTube. Hey everyone. All the best. Hey everyone. So welcome to Conquer the Mirror Demons. And as you know, I'm your host, Tanja Andersen. And today we have a dear friend to my heart. Is since I saw her beautiful face, as you can see here, it was 1 year ago. So it's so nice to see her beautiful spirits here on Zoom. We saw each other in real life and gave like a big hug. Like I love about this girl was she loved to give big hugs. As me, I was like, oh, yes, one more that is like to give hugs. So her name is Jenny Peterson. So welcome, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, it's so amazing and blessing to have you here on this amazing institute. So today, guys, Jenny and we will dig into how to raise above fear and embrace authenticity. So it's just so interesting. First time I met Jenny was in Texas, in USA, to Zoom, what you call like a mastermind. And that was the first time I get connected with her. And from my experience, what I really remember her from was this beautiful connection that I've always talked with her. Like I've always like conversation we had at that point was just like, I know this girl. I was like, this was so weird because it was the first time and we had a beautiful connection and she was so authentic to sharing a personal story from her life. I believe it was like on the one of the restaurant we was on to get a burger and we were sitting next to each other and we have a conversation and I was like, wow, you just like going deep, girl. And so that is one of the things I remember you from is from the hawk, our talk, and you was authentic to share a piece of your story. So it's a huge blessing to have you here on the summit. So please share a little bit about who you are before we dig into the topic, like who is this Jenny Peterson we look at right now?
Yeah. I am, like you said, Jenny Peterson, just a small town girl from Wyoming in the United States. Um, yeah, born and raised there, left to go to school, came back. I My life has kind of taken a crazy journey. Started out as a college dropout, moving back to my hometown, pregnant, not married, just kind of life in chaos. And then, slowly opened my own massage therapy business. And as I was doing massage and loving my clients and everything that we were creating together, there was just something missing. Like the clients kept coming back and with the same issues. And that's kind of how I got into coaching was digging underneath that and really, really healing at the holistic level, like the mind, the body, the spirit, and really geeked out on personal transformation and building confidence. And a lot of that comes from getting knocked down and finding myself again and how transformational that was for me. And now I'm a school counselor and really getting to spread those gifts. Like I love working with kids. And so school counseling, like that was the way for me to really give back to those teens, to really work like, and it's so cool. I'm a team. Like I just think that I was wired to be a part of a team. So when I was just owning my own business and it was just me, it was like, like the solo Jenny. And, I love like having coworkers to high five when I walk in the door. And like you said, that I gave you a big hug. There's nobody that gives better hugs than a group of kindergartners.
Oh my gosh,
So,
so cool.
uh, so it's so cool. My little school, I work kindergarten through seniors in high school. So the high schoolers are more like high five and a fist bump kind of kids. But yeah, so that's kind of like my crazy journey and story in 30 seconds or less. So, but yeah, that's how I got to where I am today. And it just has been this, like some people might look at my story and be like, man, she's chaotic and sporadic and but they truly are all connected, and one has led me to another that's led me to another. And it's just a really beautiful journey to get me here.
Two things, girl. Thank you for sharing. Two things is so true. Like hug at like a young kid's my niece. I believe like my sister's kid, my sister's girl. She's around like six and a half. When I see her, she is like running and don't care about how loud she is, and I'm just like, oh my God, oh love this. And she's coming over to me. I was like, I'm not letting go of you before you letting go of me. And sometimes it is very short, and sometimes it is so long, and I'm just like being in it, being the moment, hugging her, saying how much I miss her, how much I'm so happy to have you here, and how much I love to hug her, how much I love her. And we just in the moment. And I just love that. One other thing I've learned is with hugs, it is important. It had taken me some time to be in a hug because it's very intimate. And for me, when I hug a person, as I hug you, I feel I give you a piece of my soul. So I will say not all. I will say no to hug all. Sometimes I give hug. Sometimes like high five. Sometimes like hello. It's depend about like, do I choose you in my space, or do I choose to just like say no to have your energy touch my skin? So it's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
So the best is in just like being the hug also with you, and really allow the other person to let it go. And sometimes I'm hugging harder when a person let go of me. Sometimes like I will test you, girl, and I'm
Yeah.
just in the hug and hugging you, and the other person like hugging back. Yeah. Yeah, just like something power with a hug is just also like feel seen, heard, and being met no matter where the person is, and just like I want you and I choose you. So by like hugging like harder when a person let go, for me it's also really like I'm not letting go. I'm here to be your stand in whatever I get to be right now in this moment. Yeah, so I just love that.
Yeah. I love that. I always like picture hearts connecting, like when you go in for that big hug.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and one other thing I remember first time when I say that, it's just so interesting. Most people know me for the girl that give good hugs, but for most people that like to receive my hugs. And I'm just like saying, just like, the best hug that I know is where we so close, we smell each other's perfume, we have a talk, our legs is like between each other, like my here and your between, and we're so close. That is the best hugs of them all, like being so close, like our whole body is matching. I know not all isn't that, because it is very intense hug and very vulnerable hug
yeah.
and spirits too. So I just love that. And the second thing is, one of the things I love you with what you're sharing is what I hear is what your post can be a little bit missed. I see myself in that. Like when I look at my page, it's a little bit missed. Sometimes a little bit animals, environments, like emotions, and just like it is all connected, and we get to be misunderstood and be okay to be misunderstood for us to make a change in the world. We choose to be the solution in that area, and we will be misunderstood for us to make a change. And I just love that you just being real, be honest, and just put it out there. And just like, for me, I don't care about you see the red line. Like I know the red line, and it will happen one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's interesting when you bring up like being misunderstood, because I feel like growing up, like there was so many times in my life where it was like I just didn't care. Like I was the goofy, the class clown, just didn't care. And somewhere along the way, I lost that. And kind of in those darkest times of my life, and where it was like who am I anymore, because I had became like insecure
Yeah.
and this like confident person that didn't care what anyone thought, and just being misunderstood makes you second guess yourself. And I think that's one of the reasons why why I love the work that I do is because that's where the authenticity comes into play, and you slowly give pieces of yourself away when you're not being authentic, and you lose yourself in life. So
Oh, I love that. And that lead into, why is this topic so important for you, Jenny? Like, how to raise above fear and embrace authenticity. Like, why is that topic so important for you?
it 100% is important to me, because of my own experience and losing myself in the expectations of others, what I felt like I should be doing, and just trying to fit the mold of other people's expectations, and and then just ending up like depressed and anxious and just really lost in this world. um and it's so perfect because our clients are a mirror for our past selves. So when I going through, even working with, I started as a high school swim coach even before a massage therapist, and meeting these kids and seeing how incredibly freaking awesome they are, but they're not showing up authentically and not showing up as their true selves, because their friends will think they're weird, or they have, like there's the queen bees and wannabes, and those, the certain friends in your friend group that look down at you for being yourself and make you feel weird or goofy or not enough. And this topic is so important to me because I want to break free from that. I want every single person that I meet to feel safe being who they are, to unapologetically be themselves. And and that might mean being bold and being up on a stage and really being the center of the world. And and that might mean that you're a little more reserved and you like to have tea at a coffee shop, and either whatever it is, it's fine, but as long as it's unique to you, because we're all so different. Like, just be you, not what everyone else expects you to be.
Oh, love that, love that. So let's go way back, girl, in the point where you did not embrace your authenticity, where fear was a huge part of your life, where you choose fear, you live in fear. So tell us about that moment, a moment of life, and how you did choose to break through that, like unlock a breakthrough that moment of life.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I have so many. I could tell a story for every phase of my life, like when I was in high school, when I was in college, when I was a young mom, all of it. Probably the biggest one, like the biggest challenge I ever faced, was that time in college where I was an All-American athlete and having the best swim season of my life, and had a great group of friends, healthy balance of partying and just being an athlete. And it just really felt like I was on top of the world. And that's when unexpectedly I got pregnant right in the middle of the swim season.
Wow.
I'm now married to my baby's dad, but at the time, you don't know what's going to happen. And so there was a lot of conforming to what, like, I had no idea if I even liked kids. Like, that's how unexpected it was. Like, I have a niece and I love her so much, but I love spoiling her and taking her home. And here I am in this point where now I have, like, I'm torn between my friends who are college kids in their prime. And then I didn't have any married friends. I didn't have, like, a few from high school, but not close. And so none of them were married, none of them had kids. And then there was the question of, like, where do we live? And ultimately I ended up dropping out of school because the choice was, do I stay here by myself, a new mom by myself, or go be with, you know, my daughter's father, and he was moving back to Wyoming, and I really was torn. Like, my entire identity was being an athlete, and you know, and now here I am, a college dropout. So then that's where the fear really hit, where you get to think, not only what am I going to do with my life if I do this, but really, yeah, like it just was like, what are people going to think of me? What, you know, the whole story goes like, I feel like I gave my life away at that point to something. I didn't know what to do next. And so I let other people dictate what I did. I moved, I dropped out of college, and, you know, and then you're sitting there and it's like, well, what do I do? And people will give you suggestions. Oh, that
Oh my
sounds
God.
okay. Okay. Like, yep. And so it's like, so you do it, and eventually it works for a while. And that's like the biggest thing that I want people to know. It works for a while, but when you're not truly embracing your authenticity, it slowly eats away at you until finally your heart says, no, this
Yeah.
isn't you, and like shift it. And so so for me, that's where I you know, and my husband was super supportive, and he's like, well, you could be a stay-at-home mom. That lasted about 2 weeks, because like, I want to be where the people are. Like, I want to be out. Like I said, I love, like, there's nothing better than a high five and a hug from a kindergartner. And so then there was the guilt and the shame of, here I have this beautiful baby, and the expectation in my mind was that all mothers want to be stay-at-home moms, and they want to be their kids or their entire world. And I don't think I had a really good model of someone that was out in the world living her life, and that your kids are your whole world. And really, once I opened my eyes to that's okay, like, I can do both, you know, that's kind of when I started to take my life back. And I can't say that it was a beautiful story. it
Oh my
was
God.
it was hitting rock bottom, and letting it be messy, letting it be ugly. There was a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, a
Oh
lot
my
of
God.
just yuck, a lot of yuck. um and finally it was like, oh, I'm in the driver's seat. And I had great mentors. That's truly how I got out of it at the time. Before my coaching world, at the time, I had taken a Lomi Lomi massage class, which I don't know if you know anything
No,
about Lomi Lomi. It's
never hear
Hawaiian
about.
massage. Yeah. And it's mind, body, spirit. And so I had a mentor who taught me like the emotional, spiritual self and how to heal that. And so slowly I did, and started making decisions for me rather than everyone else. And so it wasn't one giant leap, this aha moment where I woke up and it was all good. It was one small decision, that one small courageous step towards what I wanted my life to look like. And, you know, saying no to things that didn't serve me anymore.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So,
So
and
cool.
then, yeah. And it's, and you get to make that choice every single day. It's, whereas like you never arrive. It's a constant choice to show up authentic, and it's a
Yeah.
constant choice to choose you every
Yeah.
single day.
Yeah. I love that. And it's also like, also what we had talked about, as you also work with, is like dare to be seen. Like, why it's so important for us to show up in our mess, why it's so important for us to do the work, like doing something that feel uncomfortable, because we don't know the blueprint, because where we are, we have not created yet to where we get to go. And the blueprint is also leading, and we can look at it as feedback to what we get to choose to do forward. And I just love this. Like one of the things that hit me as a huge insight for me, or a bigger wisdom in myself, was when you really share about this, like self-development is messy. It is messy, and it is a part of life we get to be on to the day we're gone. And it will always be messy because there's always like the next layer, like on the steps, you're going like on the steps. So when you go to next step, there's always like a ceiling you get to go to before you break through it, and the next one. And in that steps is different compared to, as I see it, what your personality style is, what background you have with your energy, who are you as a person compared to, like, do you have like a lot of body reactions, like do you like, if what the fight, flight and run is also, for me, it's also like when you break through something, fear will be there, and we get to like face it. It's like, okay, I choose it instead of being reaction, because our reaction will come. That is a part of our ego, because our ego is there to protect us so that we can survive. And survive, we're doing in what we know from the past, and it will kick us in the butt, and it's different levels, how big kick we get. And one of the things that really stood out when you're sharing about me, when you said, was the anger. It's just so interesting because, as you know, like I'm going to next level. I'm fighting to create a new home in 2025. That means I get to embrace my new identity, create new standards, create new value, create new relationships, so that I can go to build like a farm, to move on a farm before summertime next year. So it's very, there's a few months to hit that, and it is possible. The question is, am I willing to do work that is necessary to be in the driving seat instead of like, I'm out, I'm back in driving seat, I'm out, I'm getting. And what I really experienced, like this anger to like, to go to next level, because I'm a little bit right now fighting with myself, fighting with the ego, fighting with the uncomfortableness, fighting with all different kind of emotions. Like, are you freaking kidding me? This is coming up and again. It's like, oh yes, I'm coming. And it's like, okay, breathe. What is this about now? Because every emotion is new, every experience is new, every thought is new. And sometimes for me, I'm getting a little like with myself, like, okay, saying everything's new. Okay, if this is new, how will I look at it? So that I can be in it and not just jumping out and in again and jump out, because I will not create the farm on so short period of time if I'm jumping in and out all the time. Like I get to locked in the seat belt and fighting for it, as me as a personality, like fighting for something that I choose to create, give the fire in my butt to make it happen. So it's dependent about what style, who we are. For me, I get to get a big kick in the ass, have the fire, use my anger to put the fuel in it to make the action that's necessary for me to forward with so much compassion, love, and empathy, authenticity with who am I and what do I choose and what is the price I'm not willing to pay. The price I'm not willing to pay is losing the opportunities, not losing, saying no to the opportunity to travel from warm into the summer. And to make that happen, I get to move to create a new space for my birds. So am I willing to lose friendship? Yes. It's not really losing. There's something I work is letting go of friendship. Am I willing to let go of value? Am I willing to go to who I have been so that I can create a hill to the fuck yes? Because the price I'm not willing to pay is creating new memories with my family.
I love that. And what I hear in that is alignment. Like, it's like when like you have this powerful vision, and I will say that having a vision for what I want my life to look like, that has pulled me out of some of the darkest places, is knowing, having this picture. And then when you make these decisions, when your vision is as powerful as yours, then it's easier to make those decisions and stay true to yourself and to truly be authentic. Like, is this in alignment with what I'm trying to create? If yes, then cool. If not, it's like releasing. And so, as you talk about losing friendships and and it's not necessarily that you lose them forever,
No.
but if not in alignment with the life that you're trying to create, and that's been one of the biggest sorrows, is there are friendships that have faded away, and I still consider them dear friends. I still love them, but they don't take up that center stage of my heart like they used to.
Yeah.
And that was hard for me to realize that, and not just friends, but family members. And I'm all about creating a both and. Like, this is what I want to create, and if you're here to support me, come on, like, let's go. Like, let's, screw mediocrity and like
Hell yeah.
live full out fully, and then there are some relationships where I like, it's like I'm gonna wrap them in a bow with love, and they're here whenever they're ready. But when you hit the edge of your comfort zone, you talk about that next layer, that next step, that next your next breakthrough.
Yeah.
Your comfort zone is designed to keep you safe.
Yeah.
And safety is not where growth happens. So as you hit the edge of your comfort zone, that's where you're going to start seeing that, and you're going to see those paradigms coming in. Like, is this really what you want?
Yeah.
You're really going to choose this over our friendship? Isn't, like, what if you go broke? Like, what if you don't make it? And and then all of these insecurities and doubts, like, you're at the edge of your comfort zone. That's where you feel it. When you're in your comfort zone, you don't feel it. You're comfortable, you're settled, how do I want to say this? You're content. And as you hit the edge of your comfort zone, that's when you feel it. And there's even a gap right after you cross that comfort zone, where for a minute you're living that new life, and for a minute you're mourning the loss of your old one. And that's like the gap that you're in. And it's like, oh, this is scary. This is new. Like, what if nobody comes with me? What if I'm all alone? What if, all the what ifs and what ifs and what ifs. And that's when you put those goggles on and look straight ahead at your vision, and you're like, what if it all works out? Like, what if, like, I'm living it, I'm doing it, I'm being it. And when you are truly authentic, the people that are in alignment with that life that you're creating are going to come with you. And all of these things happen. It's cool. It's a really cool thing to experience. And so I hate it and I love it all at the same time. Like, it's like, oh, awesomely awful is what I call it.
I love it. Oh, girl, I just love this. Like, I hate it and I love it. It's just like, how can you hate it and love it? Yeah, you get to experience what I'm talking about, because you will freaking hate it, and you will just like, oh, I'm fucking loving it also. It's like, does this match?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's matching. It is getting together. It is connecting. Because there's always the other side of it. There's always the other side. Like, what I would like with emotions, like, no matter what we judge ourselves in the moment, it is just emotion. And beginning, I learned this, it was freaking uncomfortable, and it was like a so hot moment that I was too hot to handle myself, so that I get to extra support because my body was so hot. There's always two sides of our coin, and when it's just you love it, you hate it, like, it is connected, and whatever it is for you out there, you choose what is, because this the same with yin and yang. There's like black and white. It gets to be both sides of it. It's the same as our ego, as our essence. Welcome to our brain, how our brain is working. There's always the shadow, there's always the light side, and we get to really knowing what our two side of our side is. Like, I'm beautiful, I'm ugly, I'm smart, I'm stupid, I'm strong, I'm weak. There's always two sides of it, and we get to embrace both sides so that we can be authentic in the moment with whatever that comes up in us. And it is a powerful tool to be in the motion instead of saying, shit, the past is coming up again. No, it's not the past is coming up again. The past is coming up because you hook it to the past, is now living in the past. No, it is a new emotion, it's a new thought, it's a new experience. You are not your past. You are your past if you choose to be in the past, because you choose the past to have the control over you. So for me to, in this moment where I'm creating something that is in my mind like so big and I cannot see it as it is when you create something, as you may know, Jane, like when I was a suicide attempt, like I was planning to take my life many times, playing with a knife on my throat was really like so deep out that I could not, like I do not have other people in my mind, because pain on that level, no one have a room in the brain. I did not understand why my dad, he chose to take his own life in 2006. Like I have no clue. I did not understand it. Like how can he take his life when he say he loved his two daughters? Like how can he make that decision? I was so confused in so many years, to the day I was planning to take my life in a car, and did it also a lot of time with a knife on throat in the kitchen. Like I had no idea on that point how it is to be in the moment, to go from suicide thoughts to planet. Like that is like planet, that is like SOS, you need help. We all have suicide thoughts. Welcome to have stress. It is a part of to have stress. It is a part of to be human sometimes, to have that thought, and there's nothing wrong and right in it. So for me to go from 2021 to 21 April 2019, that was the day when I made the decision that I will do everything that gets to be done to shift my life, for do not want it, to take it, to love my life. Because I promised my mom on the hospital, my sister's man, my mom was on the hospital. Like I get to talk with a special, like I was in so deep shit that my whole world was breaking. And my mom come to the hospital, my sisters come to pick me up. It was horrible to let it go of the mask, to be authentic, that I was in so much pain and I have no clue how to survive right now, because the ego was so strong in me. So for me on that point was to let it go of friends. It was let it go of my whole identity, it was let it go of my things in my home, was let it go of my job, was let it go of my object, my home, my job, let it go of everything, so that I could start to build a new identity, because everything I did and live in was so damaged and so dark. And I did that for 8 months. And that also my mind right now is playing a game with me, because the the being I get to do is connected with the being when I was in so much darkness. So right now I'm a little bit like I'm fighting with what is real, what is not real, because who I get to be to make that happen is that girl. And my brain is playing a huge game with my mind, just like that mean I get to be in that kind of darkness. That mean I get to be in that kind of pain. No. That was in the past. I create my reality right now. So sometimes I say losing friendship because I feel I was losing something in the past. I hope this makes sense. So it's really you're playing a game with me.
Yeah.
To me, to embrace that, also embrace to heal a part of me that was so heavy in darkness, to do whatever I get to do, to hold my promise to my mom, to do what is necessary for me to want my life. It was so freaking hard and it was fucking messy. Like I know deep shits, and I have so much empathy to you all out there when you really are here to change something. How ugly, how painful suffering it can be, and you get to be in it, choose it, and just be in it. You will get through it by you choosing to get through it, and the way it will show up. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and thank you for sharing that vulnerable story, because I think so many times there's like this cloud around transformation and around choosing ourselves. And I always say, like, do your best, and your best is going to look different when you're well rested and you're in a good place, and your best when you're at your lowest of your low could be just getting out of bed. I'm not even asking for a shower, just getting out of bed,
No.
or you know, like, it could be, you know, it's whatever is true for you in that moment, but your best looks different at different times. Um, and it is scary, and a lot of insecurity builds, and, you know, and even from the other side of transformation, no matter where you're at, is, who am I to do this?
Yeah.
Like, you know, 3 months ago, you know, I didn't even want to get out of bed, and now I want to change the world, and I want to create this amazing, awesome, badass thing. And so then you hit those, like, that's, you hit it, you get it from all angles. And
Yeah.
so I think sharing that, because now look at you, this amazing woman creating transformation for all. And I think that, I think we should talk about those things more too. Like, it's okay. And, you know, and your journey is unique to you. But I think when we make ourselves wrong, or that there's something wrong with us when we go through that, that's when we truly, um, that's the hardest to pull out of, is because now you're wrong for being you. You're wrong for how you feel. You're wrong for, you know, like, every single emotion is so important to us. And if we feel it and let it fly, like, let that feeling filter through our body, then we can see it on the other side. You know, then it's like, okay, like, thank you. Like, all of our emotions are there to protect us. What are they protecting us from? From our self-doubt, from the stories that other people have made about us. Like, you know, I don't know, like, everyone, it's what's ever true for you. But when we pretend they don't exist, like, I shouldn't feel this way, I shouldn't be this, like, no, like, my mama said, don't be sad. You know, like, um, that was a hard lesson for me to learn. And I used humor to deflect how I was really feeling. So, like, growing up, I was weird and cool all at the same time. But kids were not always nice, because weird is not cool. It's not supposed to be cool. It's not, you know, like, I was blessed to at least have athletic ability to, like, you can be weird and be a good athlete, and people will still, like, be okay with you. But there were some really mean things said, and, situations that I was in. And I just remember, you know, my parents were so supportive and trying to be supportive. Well, don't let it bother you. Don't let it bother you. So then I felt wrong because I let it bother me. And, you know, and that stuck with me until my kids were hitting teenagers, you know, like, it's something I still, to this day, it's like, I'm not supposed to feel this way. I'm supposed to be able to just take these comments and take these things that people say about me, and I'm just supposed to be okay with it. And, like, I know that we've tracked off a different path, um, but yeah, all feelings are good and okay and have a purpose.
Yeah, I how I see it is you are on track, because it's all about there to be seen. It's also to see ourselves, to be honest, authentic, and transparency with a moment of like the fly on the wall. What was the emotion, the moment, the thought, the actions? There is so much wisdom in it, and to be real with ourselves, we are authentic, and choosing also to set ourselves free instead of putting a label that was wrong. I could do this. Maybe if I did this a different way. You're talking about something you can never change. What do you choose right now to move forward with something you get to take action on? So really a race above fear is also to really talk about moments of life that have created us for who we are, because our life story has created us for who we are today. It don't define who we are, because I'm not defined by hitting my ex-boyfriend with a pan on the shoulder, and I was so good too, like, I want to hit your face in the floor. Like, I'm not defined by that. it is a part of me. I'm not
Yeah.
defined about my PTSD. It was going so strong at that point, or I want to hit you in the floor. So we get to raise about that, and for me to use humor on it, like when I share, now I can see the humor in it because I've healed it. Like I'm not judging myself for hitting my ex-boyfriend with a pan. Like I was going through your head and I was going right there. So if you don't like block the pan, I was hitting me in the face because I was going for the face. So how to raise above fear is really embrace and see the beauty in that, like see the wisdom in that moment instead of like, I do not want to be a part of that. That is not me. That is not who I am today. It is part of you. You're not defined by it. It's still a part of you, and you get to raise above it and be okay with it. And that's to
Yeah.
your guys, like how you sharing also what you Jenny will also share with you, like how you choose to share your wisdom, how you choose to share your story. You get to make a decision that there's no wrong and right in it. You just get to make a decision. And one of the things I love with Jenny that is also part of the summit is we get to break the silence to heal the violence. And break the silence means we get to be authentic with our life story, what have made us who we are, what is the wisdom in it, what have we learned from it, and share that, because when we're sharing something that's allowed people to judge us for. Like I've been judged so heavily for the pan. Like you get to go in the hospital, you get to get the needle, you get to be locked in because you may be sick in the mind. It's like, oh yes, I've been judged for so many interesting things. And if we choose to be in fear, to choose to say no to share our story, no matter how you choose it out there, how can you be authentic with yourself? Because someone out there needs to hear your story. Like you Jenny, you have different also experiences. Like when you share your journey, share your piece of moment of life, it saves someone because the person feels seen, heard, understood. When I choose to be in a coach education, that was free for the first 6 weeks. Like I was around coaches that was sharing so raw, so honest, being so authentic. That was like, oh my freaking God, is this person just sharing that? Like, what would we say? I was like, my nerve was going so strong. And it also saved my life because it creates a safe base for me to share my story, share my emotion that I will never share with someone else. Because what will you say if I'm sharing a story that I hit my ex-boyfriend with a pan and I was going for his face? Like that is not like,
Mhm.
where do we hear that someone hit someone was going to hit the face? Not because it allowed people to judge someone.
Yeah. Well, and it's like those stories speak to your soul, because even there, like I've never hit anyone with a frying pan, but I can think of times like where I've been so angry, and when you're in that moment, and so it's like you're speaking to my soul, and and it really like gets us to reflect on, and it's not about like yes, so many people are going to judge you for that, and if one person connects with that and is like, I get it, I've been there,
Yeah.
um and even now I'm like, these stories are like, oh, do I share that, do I not share that? And it's like if one person can relate to it and embrace the growth in it,
Yeah.
it's
Oh yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I think when people judge us, it's like, oh, we're not supposed to feel that, we're not supposed to do that, like that's going against what we've been taught, but like really embracing the growth in that, like you
Yeah.
hit a guy with a frying pan, and the growth moment is, and whatever it is for you, like whether it's, recognizing your limits or recognizing what you've put up with to that moment. But not being ashamed of it, not putting it down. Like me, I used to use humor, like
Yeah.
I don't, and just laugh it off, like, oh, I hit someone with a frying pan. But really feeling like, okay, like, and embrace the growth. Like, what is the lesson that in this, like, what is the lesson I can take from this?
Yeah.
And that might mean leaving a relationship that's not serving you,
Yeah.
or maybe it might be, going to counseling to really work on yourself and your own demons that you're working through, or so there's so many things that you can embrace in that moment.
No, so true. One of the things before you get to share about the free gift you have, Jenny, is it's so interesting when we talk about humor. Like in the past, I was so judgmental for people in the beginning of my transformation in 2014 that if a person share a vulnerable story, they was laughing. I was like, why are you laughing when it's so heavy to share? It's like, what is going on in your fucking mind? I was so judgmental when people laugh. It's like, what? Like, that's nothing to laugh about. And now there's always two sides of the coin, guys. Like, why do a person choose to laugh is so different because in the past, you did not see me laugh about my story. Like, I was not laughing about that shit. Now I can laugh about it because when we choose to smile or choose to laugh, let's say fake, it shifts the brain on a powerful level that is not going backwards to the negativity, to the ego, to the shifting, to be in the what do you call like this, like a good what do you call like oh my god, the word on English. It shifts you to be in a good state that put you in a bad state. Like also when you face like good example, like when you face a challenge come in your mind, it's important to say, not to shift it to say, oh, I get one more challenge, something to celebrate. And I smile about that to make me shift my mind to see being light in the moment compared to, are you fucking kidding me? Now this fucking shit happen again. Like, I don't want that shit. And I'm pushing away and I'm closing off for myself. It's like, not good vibe here. It push it away and put more energy, put more like labels, like judgments, garbage on it. And it will be more a hot moment for me to dig in it compared to if I shift my mind, say, yes, I win, I get one more challenge. Like I can embrace stronger things in my life. That allow my brain like, oh, it's not heavy to go in now. Let's go into it and work on and create solutions. So to shift the mind when something happens, will shift it so that we don't put judgment, garbage, heaviness, like all the things we put on it, and we create lightness around it. That is also what I love about to smile about it. So it's different way why a person chooses to smile. I didn't past judge people when they was laughing about stories like, you are not being real. Oh yes, they are. I know that now. People is real when it's smiling off a story.
Yeah. Like you just like hit my soul when you were talking about, it's like no shame, no blame, no judgment. And when I started looking at things in my life from that lens, like no shame, no blame, no judgment, that changed how I parent my kids. That changed how I show up in my marriage. That changed how I showed up in my career in the school, working with my coworkers, and really viewing situations neutrally. Now some situations are easier than others to look at that way, but in the end, it's like my coworkers get annoyed and then they laugh about it because they're just like, because they'll come in about a trigger with a kid or something like that, and I'm like, and this is so perfect. This is like exactly how it's supposed to be, and like all for you to grow, and and the kid too, but we can only focus on ourselves. And I like that. Really, you talk about freedom and the freedom to look at situations, no shame, no blame, no judgment. That's the true freedom. Any situation, whether it's dropping out of college, being an unwed mother, hitting someone with a frying pan, being at the brink of ending your life, like all of that, no shame, no blame, no judgment, all of this for you to grow. It could be cussing someone out in the grocery store, like every situation. Like
one of the things I learned, I'm choosing to learn from myself when I like in the moments like, okay, Tanja, you can feel the emotion a little bit like the old drama queen is coming and like want to like sharing some voice. It's like, okay, I have 1 minute for that girl going crazy, say what you want. And after 1 minute, we are closing that conversation off. And I'm just going crazy out there. And it's just like, whoo, yes. How bad was it?
Yeah.
Not so bad. I was just a little bit like, using be the old drama queen there.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting.
Well, and something.
Sorry, go for it, Morgan.
Oh, no, go ahead.
One of the things also too, guys, be authentic. For me, to be authentic has been a journey. Like, it has really been a hot mess for me to be authentic for who the person I choose to be today, because I'm not Tanja from yesterday. Like, I'm the person I choose to be today, with new wisdom, with the new choices. And one of the things that has been a huge challenge for me to embrace my colorful language, to play with words, have fun with wording, is really embracing here in Denmark that I'm playing with. Playing a little bit, testing it as I like, is people talk Danish in my work. And some days, like, I'm talking English, and sometimes it's like, look at me as like, yes, I'm talking English, deal with it. And they're just like, what? So I'm being called for the Copenhagen lady, and they have embraced who I am with my language. I'm speaking Danish, English. I'm writing to my boss, Danish and English. And she was coming one day to me, it's like, Tanja, did you know you are texting English to me? It's like, yes, I know. It gives me a smile on the lips when you do it. It's like, oh, thank you. Because it's also allowed you to be different, to be authentic for who you are, and be in the moment. Like, also to say, I'm choosing to say no, to say I'm in a challenge or I'm in a hard situation, because if I say that for myself, I put my brain in a label. It is hard, it is challenge, and I don't want that shit. I'm shifting to, I'm in a hot moment right now, and it makes me smile, because what is a hot moment for my brain is connected to in the jungle, where I was so hot that I was sweating my panties off because I was sweating so heavily. So when I say hot moment, the first thing that come in my mind was that moment, and it made me smile. It's like, oh, is it really hard? No, because I'm just telling my brain it's a good moment right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think too, a lot of people in the counselor world, they talk about toxic positivity and like that Pollyanna syndrome of like, everything's good all the time. And that's something that I want to like bring up here, is that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about that toxic positivity where you're so positive all the time that you're not realistic. It's about embracing those moments, but also knowing that you have the power to shift out of it, like embracing the yuck, but realizing you don't have to stay there, like, and shifting through. And so I do like, and it's something, because growing up, I do think I was the Pollyanna. I do think that, and I always thought of that as one of my biggest gifts, was always seeing the bright side, always seeing, and not realizing that unintentionally, I had created this environment where people didn't feel safe to be in a bad mood around me, or they didn't feel safe to talk to me about bad things, because, it's like, even my kids are like, you're just going to make this positive, or why do you have to be so positive all the time? And it's like, well, like, no, like, feel it, but shift it. Like, and so, but then I made myself wrong. Like, I made myself wrong for being positive all the time, and talk about that being an identity crisis. Like, here I am. I've always been happy. I've always been able to see the bright side. And now it's like, now I'm wrong for that. And now I have to be a bitch, or I have to be angry. I have like, and so for me, like, that was a shift, finding the balance between being a Pollyanna and having like that realistic, like, using it, fail, but fail forward.
Wow.
It's crazy, like the stories we come up in our heads to make ourselves
Oh
wrong,
my God.
or we'll latch on to one thing said to us and totally rock our world.
Oh girl, I know that. Oh, this topic, girl, we could talk like there's so much, guys, there's so much juicy to know about this topic, like how to raise above fear, to embrace authenticity, like, and there's also difficult tools. So Jenny and I really, 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 one of the things we would like you to go with is, for me and Jenny get to share hers, is really like you get to shift your language, because when I learned to shift my language of the wording, no matter how I feel about that, shift my language of hot moments, so only 1 year I've used hot moments, that I, in the beginning, I judged myself so heavily for that, and I did not believe in that, and people judged me for it. I was like, I'm keep going, to the point that now my friends that is around me also start to say hot moments. And also my family here, when I say hot moments, and they say like, what do you mean about a hot moment, Tanja? I was like, it's just a very hot moment right now. And what do you mean about it? It is hot right now. Like, I'm too hot to handle like now. Like, I'm so hot that I'm sweating my pants out. Or they're just like, oh, you're too weird. It's like, yes, because it's hot. It's like, it's hot. It's also the communication is so important for you to shift. So one of the things is really be aware about your communication, because when you speak it loud, like if I speak around like how freaking annoying it is sometimes a nerd party, and the judgment, the labels, the fear, like don't want to eat, vomit, and all that fun stuff. I'm speaking words that my focus will be on them. Do I really choose my focus to be on all the heaviness, the judgments, the fear? No, if I get to choose the ways above my fear, no matter how I feel in the moment, no matter what happened, I get to shift my communication, no matter if I believe in it. So to you guys, it's really be aware about your wording you're using in your communication with yourself alone, like the word that's coming out of your mouth. It's okay, you think about it, but it's just the word that's coming out of your mouth, or writing, because your ears is listening what it come out, and your focus will be on there. So you can command your focus by shifting your words. No matter if you believe it, no matter what people react on it, you get to stick with the shifting your words. So that is one thing I will leave you with, is that it was a game changer for me to be in my darkness, and be in my shadows, and choosing to survive and find the light in it. So what is one thing you will leave the others with, Jenny, or for them to go with from our talk today before you send your free gift?
I guess like the thing that's coming up for me is like embracing the yuck. Like, let it be messy.
Oh my gosh.
Like let life be messy, and really anchor into like your vision and what you're creating, because everything's figure outable. Like when you have a clear vision for what you want, whether it's, like a relationship with your kids. I don't know how many times, like, and you talk about comfort, like earlier we were talking about comfort zones, and I was thinking about in my business, in my life, like I was thinking about big jumps. But it took just as much courage for me to have difficult conversations with my kids, like when our relationship wasn't fitting the vision that I wanted to create with them, and really sitting them down and having the courage to say, like, what we're doing isn't okay with me. Like, I want to create something new and beautiful with you. That took just as much courage, and not knowing how are they going to respond. My kids are now 14 and 16. So they're a little bit older, but that's hard to talk about. Like, it's like I can do it by myself, but when you're in relationship with others, it's hard. And so I really want to like have the courage to be uncomfortable, and have the courage to go for it anyway. So courage, I guess, is what I would like to leave people with, the courage to be you unapologetically.
Of course. So Jenny, what is your I love that. What is your free gift to the dear audience that is watching? And before Jenny is sharing that, on her picture here, you're seeing here on YouTube as on Zoom, there is her Instagram name. So you can always go and get connected with her there. If you cannot find the free gift, as she will share, there's always the way to connect with her on Instagram and ask her or connect with her or go to follow her. So Jenny, my love, what is your free gift to the dear audience that's watching this?
So the free gift for today is a confidence compass. I'm a huge like image, like if you look at my office, I'm in a hotel room right now, but in my office, I have motivational posters that I can go to, I can relate to. This one you can put as the home screen of your phone, or you can print it off and put it on your wall. But it's really 4 steps to like embracing your authentic self and having the confidence. And one of those things is embracing growth. You know, what can I learn from this? It's a reminder to identify your support system. Like, who can you turn to when things get messy? Because they will, I promise you, it's life. Like, things are going to get hard. So who's in your corner that you can go to? Grounding yourself in just grounding yourself. Like, how can you shift? Like, what can I do to stay calm and, you know, get out of that fight or flight that we were talking about earlier? So what can you do to stay calm? And then focus on wins, no matter how big or small, but really thinking of, you know, what's one win that I can celebrate today? And maybe that win is that you showered. Maybe that win is that you just had your first $10,000 month. And maybe that win is that you finally bought that farm where you can create that animal sanctuary. You know, maybe that win, you know, it's whatever it is for you. But celebrating those wins every single day. I don't think that we celebrate ourselves enough. I don't think that we celebrate having that hard conversation, even if it doesn't go the way that we want it to go. You had it. You expressed yourself authentically. You know, like celebrate everything, celebrate it all. So anyway, I made a very beautiful, I think it's beautiful, like a poster that you can print off and yeah.
It's
so
beautiful. And how you get
the
connected
confidence
with
compass.
the confidence compass. Oh, I love that. I saw, like, I did saw it before our intro, and I also saw it there. It's like, oh, look, colors. There's a little bit color in it. It's like, it make me go to things when there's a little bit color. It's like, oh, yes, stuff like this. So guys, how you get connected with Jenny's free gift that she have to you. So we will send out a little bit later today. So the link will come in your email, and how you get connected with this on her free gift by seeing us YouTube is connect with her on Instagram, as her name is on the video, as you see here. Are you also welcome to get connected with me in touch, so I will send her a free gift and information your way as you get connected with the summit at accents to all the other interviews that's coming with speakers in the next couple of days to the 24th December by hitting the link below to conquer themyodemon.com/summits. So thank you so much, Jenny. The girl, like, this call, oh my God, there's so much used in to get connected with this authenticity. So thank you so much, my love, for really being a stand for authenticity and how to make the actions, choose the actions to raise above fear, to be authentic you. It is so needed so that a person can be free, because I really believe a person can only be free when they're really authentic them. And how do they know they are authentic them? It is doing the work and doing self-development and being with a coach as you. So thank you so much, love, for being that and make that stand for kids, as teenager, as adult that is coming your way, as you also are in my life. So thank you so much, love.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and letting me share a piece of my soul.
Oh, you're most welcome. It's a blessing. Thank you, my love. And you guys there, thank you so much for being here with us. Janie and I look so much forward to get connected with you and hear from you. So go on her Instagram, follow her so they get connected with it and make some action on there. So Merry Christmas, everyone. Having a beautiful Friday and weekend. And see you next time, everyone.